That mic is come up.
There we go. Check, check. Hey guys, a little louder. Check, check. There we go. Now we're getting levels a little lower. Yeah, that's good.
Do you want me to compress this mic over here?
Yeah, for sure.
I've already got the mic compressed.
Perfect. Now we just need to get Greg back and figure out what's going on with his audio.
And we are actually streaming right now.
Are we?
Because we is the lazy of the stream. That's fine. A fun picture.
We could just put up the death clock thing that has the, starts at 8.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
something else. Alright, so hopefully his audio issue is just...
I think he said he was going to get a mic or something.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear what he said. Check. It's pretty solid.
Solid as a rock.
Like George's penis.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's streaming, isn't it?
Yes.
That was why I said it.
That's for the Patreon.
That's for the
Patreon.
Patreon
members.
subscribe gold members.
Yeah. Not only is there Patreon, there's Patreon Gold. With all the homoeroticness you can take.
If you do not subscribe, you get this shit. You get the homoerotic beginning. No, I guess I better get
Moose
my
machine with the homoerotic cold open.
we just stream. We have a virus that goes to your computer that automatically streams 5 minutes of gay porn.
It's like a pre-roll ad, except it's so much work.
And every time you click the little thing that says you can skip this, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Now selecting Shizer. What?
You can skip this ad in 5 seconds. Oh, I'd like to say fuck you, Apple. The last OS update for my iPad, it has fucking for my iPad. It is literally, it's not bricked it, but this ain't
It's not good.
Well, then why don't you roll back?
Oh, Greg's back.
Because then updates don't
Greg.
work. And
The only one that can hear you possibly is Will.
Yeah.
your mic is weird. Why don't we try re-skyping in and see if it clears that up? There's like a
Weird
clicking
tap.
sound. I want to see if it's you or if it's something wrong with this computer. Which would just be par for the course.
Yeah, especially tonight.
Why is this not working as a...
It's concave.
Convex. These are words I know.
Hmm.
That seems like it's even worse. Now, I can hear nothing from you now.
You're doing it wrong.
1 second. Try talking? Yeah, I got nothing from you, bro.
Good.
Oh, now a little bit audio just came in.
That's weird.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, you cut out on me again. Okay, let's see. What's the other option here?
Other option is to put, maybe it's the wireless connection? Could that be doing it?
No, if you listen to it, it sounds like there's a bad mic or a bad audio connector. Check that connection. Maybe it's the... Let's try unplugging this and see if it's on that end. Okay, try talking, Greg. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not on this end.
It's not. It doesn't look like it's on this end. Okay, we're just gonna do some tests with an iPhone and see if I can get that fixed.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That is the shit.
Yeah, because the cracking goes away almost instantly. Do you have Skype on your phone?
You.
Do you got Skype on your phone, George?
Yeah.
FaceTime. FaceTime.
I don't know if I even have you as a contact on Skype, George. Doesn't look like it. Will Ryan 7.
At least we're already streaming.
Oh, yeah, because everybody can watch our... And we've got 15 minutes, so how bad can it be?
He just said it.
This means we need to drink more.
Working on it.
Slamming back your Lederhosen.
Lederhausen.
Chapter 90.
So good. Goes great with a German bratwurst.
Send contact.
George.
I am the German bratwurst. Oh yeah.
Or a warm pretzel.
Yeah, that could be painful.
Warm bratwurst.
Not salted.
Salted pretzel.
Are you calling me?
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah, that happens.
Okay, so it's not us.
I close Skype, hopefully to have it never randomly open on me again. Because fuck you, Microsoft.
Fuck
You know what? I think our set is a little busy.
Nah.
Only because there's a bunch of stuff off the side.
No, I had these images up. And you can't tell which bit is the humans.
That's not a bad thing.
All right. Do you have your headphones?
Yeah.
Yeah, mine are over there.
I put yours here, and his are just sitting over there.
Okay.
You're all set up.
As I recall, those headphones needed like USB power or something
Yeah,
to
yeah.
run.
So it looks like the audio on the stream is peaking out pretty loud.
Yeah. Well, it's not getting all the way up by any means.
Oh, okay. As long as it's not getting all the way up, we should be
Nope.
fine.
It seems
Unlike
to be okay.
George's penis.
In which case, even when it's not all the way up, we're still not fine.
Okay. It's not okay.
Stop, you guys. Stop talking about my man bars. It's making...
I think it's more like horse parts, am I right?
Am I right? Am I right? Am I
We
right?
gotta have tiny penises. There's a South Park episode about this.
Almost.
God, you are white, Jason.
I am very white.
Oh, I guess I should get the iPad hooked up. Ooh. Did anybody check to see if War Room is updated?
Oh.
This is release day. We should have...
I saw a mention about it on the... Oh.
No, you're still getting this weird clicking sound.
Okay. The only option I can think of is like using my phone, iPhone.
Yeah, let's give that a try. Let's see how bad the connection is or how good it is.
Okay.
I don't know what that whack is, that clip.
It's weird.
What's that?
Do you have my number? You want me to call you or what?
Do you have Skype on your phone?
Yeah. Is it download the app?
Yeah. You're on an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just download the app. It'll take just a second, and then that'll be a lot easier. That'll be cheaper.
Okay.
All right, talk to me. Okay, so you need me to balance all the things.
All the things. These. You'll probably still want those headphones, won't you? So you can
He's
balance.
got headphones right there. We might as well balance them using the headphones that he's.
You can try it through a mic slot because we have an extra one today.
Lightning round!
Oh, getting update. Downloading images.
Uh-oh.
Oh, snap. I just updated too, not that long ago. Post errata.
Pass me an adapter.
What type?
Mini to phone. There you go. Oh, no, because this goes into this, right? Am I right?
Yep.
Am I right? Am I right?
Sorry, here's your adapter so we don't lose it. Check, check.
No, it's not. It's not the update I want. Damn you.
Mic on. Is there a trick to this, Mike? Does this need USB power to work, Jason?
Yes.
Well, fuck.
And you said the USB ports don't work?
No, they're full.
Oh.
One's got a camera in it, the other has the board in it.
I'll bring my laptop down. I will go get it.
Here.
Can you pass me a set of headphones so I can at least get this balanced? Check. Hello, I'm Jason. Jason is me. I like to say silly things on the interwebs. Do you want to check the stream and make sure we're not peeking out like crazy on the stream itself? And those mics are done.
What do you mean?
These mics are done fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. And then we can check the stream to make sure it's fine and hope that Greg can get his phone to work. All right. Checkity check the Chinese chicken. I have no idea if anybody's on the stream yet, but we will be starting momentarily. We're just working out a few little issues.
Shit gone wrong!
That's right. We got all of our issues fixed, and then more issues came up. Super awesome!
Shit gone wrong!
But we have 7 minutes to make it work. What could go wrong?
Oh god, he said it again.
7 minutes is lots of time.
I know, because I've spent 7 minutes in a closet with George.
7 minutes in heaven, and you don't walk right for a week.
Oh, that's terrible. Ah! I'd like to apologize to the LGBT community. For
what?
nothing really.
Implying that
Implying that our asses
are good?
are good.
The implication is that
I'm
we
sure
have
somebody
asses.
could take
I can hear
offense.
stuff.
You can-
Hey!
Yay!
I'm sure somebody out there could take offense to everything we say.
Yeah. Happy holidays.
Don't walk right for a week.
That's terrible. That sounds good. Audio's good. All right, great. I'd like to apologize to the And this week Jason doesn't have a mic on, so we're going to stop him from banging around.
Oh, hi there.
Oh,
I
hi.
feel like the piano man.
Too bad you look like the cellist.
Oh, yeah, I guess I need more.
I don't know if that's an insult or...
You know what? I'm not 100% clear either.
I love cello. I'll take it as a compliment, I
There's
guess.
always room for cello.
I've always been a really big fan of the cello.
There's always room for cello.
Sound
Oh, wait.
my way.
That might be.
You're gonna check the chat there.
Chickadee China.
See if we got anybody on. Say hi to them while we're waiting.
Hi to them while we're waiting.
All right, so today's topics everybody's good with.
My sister wants me to smuggle
Plums.
ketchup chips into the States.
Ketchup chip. Oh, yeah, they don't get ketchup chips.
They don't get ketchup chips.
Remember, Jason, you actually need to talk into your mic for
Hello.
us to. We can move that.
Hey.
It's on a mic
It's
stand.
on a
We can
stand.
literally put it anywhere at any level. doesn't have to.
No.
But it's...
Because it's very directional, that mic. So let me
Yeah,
just
you
move
want to talk into the end of it.
it. Here, I'll move it.
Okay.
Weren't you in a band?
Yeah, but
Fucking
it's-
drummers. God damn it.
I mostly played bass. Mostly.
They mostly come out at night. Most.
I told you my favorite bassist joke, haven't I?
No.
A little kid says to his dad, "Dad, really want to be a bass player." His dad says, "Well, you know, we got you those horseback riding lessons, we got you those ballet lessons, and you quit both of those. You got to promise me that if you take up the bass, you're gonna, you know, put your heart and soul in it. You got to go to every practice. You gotta, you know, practice for at least half an hour every night, and you can't quit. You gotta make a real effort here." And he says, yeah, no problem, Dad, no problem. And his dad, so he says, yeah, Dad, no problem. Buys him bass lessons. He goes and takes his first bass lesson. He comes back the next day. He spends, you know, half hour practicing. Boom, you know, scales. Boom, 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 boom. And then, you know, he goes to the next bass lesson the next day, and the teacher calls. Says, little Bobby never showed up for class today. His dad's all pissed off. The kid comes in after bass, you know, when he was supposed to come home, and his dad comes storming in and, "Where were you? Why weren't you at your bass lesson? You promised me." And he said, "Oh, don't worry, Dad, I had a gig."
God damn it. It's funny because it's true.
Don't kick the beer.
Alright, so
You might want to mute that shit.
Why is the...
2 minutes left. What could
Why
go
is there
wrong?
no chat?
Oh, don't you usually use some other chat program?
No.
Where's the chat? No chat.
Oh, you probably have to log in.
Oh.
No, it should be logged in as me.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not gonna do
He's
that?
probably just got
Yeah.
the chat minimized.
No? This is the only window.
No. On the right hand side,
Mm-hmm.
is there like a little arrow where you can click and bring. No, not that.
George, go show him.
No?
You know, I thought I was done with idiots for the day.
Nope. Turns out you are going to
Okay.
do a podcast with 2 more.
Cursor goes up the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a little button right there?
Oh, look at that. I figured it out.
Now, don't forget to mute.
Don't worry, George. I figured it out.
Don't
Oh, you
forget to
figured
mute.
it out? You good?
Hello?
Hey.
Ha!
Mute the fucking stream, dude.
Okay. Where'd the stream go?
Oh my god.
Wow, it's really clippy.
I just muted it.
On OBS, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, you're a
Done.
fucking retard. Now go.
No.
Oh, you mean the one on the...
The
Yeah.
one making noise, god damn it! Roll some dice!
There.
There you go.
You need to be specific.
How the hell did you have a kid? Was it just like
Now
blind
make sure
luck?
that we're not
Did
muted.
you
No,
trip over
Make
and
sure the
hit her one
stream isn't
there?
muted now.
No, the stream's fine.
All right.
You say that.
I do. Look, it's fine. Hello.
Where's that beer?
Now where'd the chat go?
Fuck me sideways.
So what happens? We give him a new computer. It fucks everything up. That looks really. Did the stream look smooth for you on your iPad? Okay, because it was really like on that. But I'm guessing it's because it's uploading, downloading,
It's uploading
and
and downloading and recording, and Jason's running it.
It's 8 o'clock, folks. I'm sorry for the delay, but that's okay. We're just going to be a couple seconds while we try to get our buddy Greg Skyped in.
Mm-hmm.
So we're probably going to start, I would say, it's probably going to be closer to 8:15 now.
As soon as Greg gets in.
Yeah, he's just working on getting it on his phone. Do. Bad microphone. We might have to, worst comes to worst, if 10 minutes go by and we don't get it running, we'll get Greg in next week.
Mm-hmm. We can always do that.
Yeah. Oh, although P.O.'s here next week.
Really?
Is he though?
You say that. Wow, it's so quiet. We can hear the baby. Does synergy matter? No. Next topic. I can cut through this list in half an hour.
Are we talking about Gem tonight?
About what?
Gem.
Gem and the holograms?
Holograms?
Yes,
Awesome.
that is the top. If only you had like done some pre-work,
Yeah.
you could have the Gem and the holograms theme song loaded up. You could have been like, "Boop, outrageous, truly outrageous, Gem."
And you could have just trolled everybody by getting the one from the new movie that they're making.
God.
That's horrible.
That looks awful. Not that I went out of my way to find it.
What are you looking for in there?
Nothing.
You're looking for Gem and the holograms. That's what you're looking for. So where do you leader?
Anybody on the stream at all, Jason?
We have 3 people.
Oh boy!
I'm sorry.
One of them is probably us.
Yep.
And if my phone hasn't signed out, another one is probably
Oh,
us.
hey!
And then the third one's probably Greg.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there we go.
Did we advertise today?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
didn't see my advertisements?
I did.
I
They were
don't
kind of
I
awesome.
don't get to go on the
And
internet
kind of
anymore.
horrible.
Because I kind of got. Truly outrageous, truly outrageous. The worst part
You
about
guys
this is we
know-
all know the
I was just going to say, you guys know this way too well.
She wore a miniskirt.
Exactly.
When you were
Understandable.
10, Gem was pretty hot.
And it was the 80s after all.
We're pretty choppy.
That's because we're uploading, downloading, and recording all on that little computer, which is old.
It's not that old. It's an i7.
Oh.
In Mac years, that's like ancient, dude. No, it's totally untrue. Macs last. They do charge a shitload, but the good news about Macs is they generally keep working for a really long time, except for iPads, which apparently have like a fucking expiry date.
Oh, yeah. If you let their operating systems update.
Yeah. Well, the problem is
And
if I don't let the operating system update, then I can't keep using all the apps.
Yep.
So, and of course, Facebook now likes to update you once a week.
My mic is on. I have 2 mics.
It can't be.
Yeah.
It's not plugged into anything.
It's not plugged into anything.
It's because you've got a cable running to the headset.
Oh.
Tap your headset; it probably sounds the same.
Yeah.
I can see the pink plug.
Yeah, it's not actually plugged in anything.
Oh. Whatever.
Crack.
Delicious.
Not just for babies. Sorry about the wait, guys, on the stream. We will be broadcasting live momentarily.
Minty's here.
Hey, Minty!
Hey!
Minty thinks Gem is hot as well.
Yes, everybody thought Jem was hot. She wore a miniskirt. We didn't, that
We
was
didn't know any better.
something at the time.
She had that pink hair.
This makes for riveting
So
podcasting.
outrageous.
Oh, I know, right?
Shall we focus?
5 minutes, and then we'll unfortunately have to proceed without Greg.
Or just wait for him to come online and we can focus.
Yeah, we could start without him. Well, did you get the question that Minty sent you a couple of hours ago?
Yes, but I've actually already put in the question slightly previously. I had one more question. I'll save that question for next week.
Oh no.
Sorry, Minty. Sorry, Minty. You were just a little late. Come on, Greg.
WTF, baby kid.
All right, well.
This is how the Moose Machine Party found the war starts.
And then we snubbed Greg.
Then Greg gets mad at the boys for snubbing him. Then at the SOO, they started throwing things at each other.
Then I had to write that diss song and you know how long it takes to rhyme Chromac? God damn it!
See, that song, my lyrics today. Luckily, it's Chromac 2. You see, it was easy to rhyme, and that song has no rhyming in it. So,
Wow, that really hates it when I do that.
yeah,
Oh.
we're gonna try a new account.
We did talk.
Yummy.
So my dog,
Mhm.
when it has something new in the room, sounds exactly like an Ewok. It's hilarious. It's like, yeah, it makes all these little Ewok noises, which are hilarious.
So now you must call it Yum Nup.
Yeah. Well, he's already called the Puka, and
Yum Nup.
yeah, Bubba.
Warwick
Bubba.
Davis.
Yeah, totally.
Warwick.
Warwick. My dog has too many names already. He's already learned how to sit, poop in the house.
He's learned how to poop in that house.
I was just going to say, you are training him wrong.
I kept trying to go outside, and I was like, no. You sit here and you poop.
But I don't want to poop in here. Just teach it to crap in the toilet. First time it flushes. That'll be surprising.
All right, let's see if this works.
Doom.
It's ringing, apparently.
I don't hear the ringing. Do you hear the ringing?
Chromac, Bromac,
Call ended.
Provac, go back.
God damn it.
No stack my back. Minty's rhyming for us.
Ah, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Do we have audio? Is the next
Do we
question.
have camera? Do I select?
You definitely have audio. Hey,
Hey!
on camera.
Check it out, yo.
Hey!
Did we plug in his audio?
That's something.
Yeah, it's plugged in.
Nope, that's the USB cable. God
Oh.
damn it, Jason.
What?
It's all right. Where did that go? All right, we're just plugging it
I
in.
unplugged it. He didn't tell me to plug it back in.
And then
Alright.
you put your laptop on it.
And just 1 second.
I do what I can.
Ow.
Technology is horrible.
George, you're gonna have to straighten that out. Can't get to it.
Jason, laptop, move it. Drug it
It
bastard.
just exploded.
There we go. Woo!
Okay, we got it.
Cheers!
Haha! All right, we have everybody here now.
Yay, we can start the show.
Yay!
We can get
Yay, sorry
started.
about that.
Oh, don't worry about it. That is par for the course.
Is it?
God damn it!
Operator?
And then Will spilled his beer
For the
second time tonight.
Hey, George, can you pass me a beer?
I could.
Will you?
Yes.
All
What are you
right.
guys drinking?
Currently, I am drinking Church Key Holy Smoke, and then I'm going to move over to this
Rickard's Red.
Rickard's Red. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start the broadcast at 8:10 on the button.
Did you say broadcast?
We have a button? Sweet ass.
Broad.
Unbuttoned.
Do you remember buttons?
You can turn Greg up a bit.
Do you want me to start recording?
I'd like you to turn Greg up a bit.
Turn me up!
My number is Greg.
Greg should be... Actually, talk again, Greg.
I want to be heard.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Your levels
All
are fine.
peoples of the internet.
There you go. You're good to go.
I am.
Remember, you can always turn them up here.
Oh.
No, he is maxed out, yo.
Wow.
Max power.
Max power.
I can try projecting.
Actually, I almost want to turn this down.
Yeah, and turn them up on the board.
Turn the board up.
Which one is he on the board?
He's the green...
Number 3.
Okay.
Keep talking, Greg.
I like green. It's my favorite color, actually.
Higher, higher, higher.
Higher.
That's...
Higher.
Looks like he's going to peek out a bit no matter what.
Yeah, I think...
It might be Mike.
Well, it's...
Mike number 2.
Well, he's on a phone, so it's not like...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hit it with that intro. Welcome to This Death Clock Has 60 Minutes, the explicit All Horror Awards news podcast. It's 8 p.m. Wednesday night, and the Death Clock starts now. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to This Death Clock Has 60 Minutes, the sometimes up-to-date news podcast that most of the time gets things right and generally broadcasts at around 8 o'clock every Wednesday night. It is episode 11, which is pretty damn exciting. Episode 11 puts us several episodes ahead of most podcasts.
Including Arcane Assist.
Yeah, including Arcane Assist. Banky, if you don't get back on a microphone and give us another Arcane Assist...
we're just going to make you come on this podcast.
Yeah, we're just going to make... Except he works apparently Wednesday. So he keeps finding a bye. He's been getting the bye on us over and over again. I'd like to introduce our guest for this evening. No one other than Greg Collinson from... Party Foul. So we're basically just, not making any friends on Reddit this week is the way.
We are loved on Reddit.
Beloved.
We're the most downvoted.
Yeah, beloved on Reddit, all around by everybody. Don't worry about it, Greg. We too have felt the Reddit. You guys are doing something for free. Make it better, Hammer.
It's much hate.
Yeah. So tonight's topic is going to... sorry, I should introduce my other two hosts here.
No, we're fine.
Sitting over there on the stream, watching and listening to your questions, giving us up-to-date, moment-by-moment comments from you, the listeners, is no other than Maelstrom. Say hi, Maelstrom.
Hi, Maelstrom.
And sitting to my left is the one and only PG Semi-Auto Magic. Say hi, Semi-Auto Magic.
Hello.
Ooh, that was sexy. Very sexy. There's a reason why they call him Moosecock.
Whoa.
Whoa, what?
Do that?
Where did that go?
I think that's just
We're trying to get him to use his PG points to buy his Croak Raiders, so we're just trying to make him feel better.
Is that a delicacy out there, Moosecock?
Guys, something big happened today. I thought maybe we'd talk about that.
It wasn't
The Moosecock.
It wasn't the Moosecock. Let's leave all the penis talk behind us.
I wouldn't count on that.
So I play Convergence, and
God.
Like you
You're a
need
masochist, are you?
yeah.
So, guys, let's start by saying something.
nice.
A big release happened today. I can't say this without it sounding terribly dirty.
Was it a devastating release?
It was a devastating release. At least it was devastating for everybody other than troll players. Devastation was released today. We'll start with your thoughts, PG Semi-Auto Magic. What you got to say?
Well, so far, I haven't gotten my grubby little mitts on a book because apparently Lion Rampant is playing hide and go fuck yourself with the shipments today.
Yeah.
But all the spoilers I've seen have made me quite happy. Now, I am not one to hate on a particular release or be annoyed just because it maybe isn't exactly optimal. But I all the ones I've seen so far look, playable in the minimum. Except maybe, like, even Zal 2, which, doesn't seem to do anything special, still looks like he's actually playable.
What's funny is a month ago, you didn't care about Zal 2 at all. Now that you're a Scorn player, it's like, Zal 2, what the hell?
There's actually been quite a bit of talk around here about his tier. A lot of people seem to think it's pretty legit.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Greg, well, give us your feedback. Oh, I don't know anything about the tier yet. I have only seen
I don't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
No, it's your turn, dude.
There. From what I can tell, you get a second Immortal UA for free.
Yep.
All Ancestral Guardians start with 3 souls. And I think the only downside to it is you have to take 2 beasts that are speed 6, but that's not a huge deal. You can get 2 cheap beasts that are speed 6. So, 2 units of Immortals that could be incorporeal and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And for I think the Immortals were the big problem, right? For Scorn, they had this great unit, but it was hard to charge them or something along those lines.
They're slow without the Ancestral Guardians, and they tended, because they're low defense, they tended to get shot off the table a lot.
Right. And
they are, inexplicably for me, coming from Convergence, they are not constructs. So that
doesn't make any sense.
These statues are literally living statues. So they just got caught in all the normal living hate and all the normal anti-infantry hate.
Huh. Well, okay.
And when you can go incorporeal, when you got the extra speed from the Ancestral Guardians that have some souls on them to do some work, it's
fixes their pathfinding problems too.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're able to get up now. Now they're able to get up the table and hopefully not get shot off before they get there.
Which, I think we can all say this by looking at every release we've seen so far over the last few years. A lot of these releases, when they bring a new caster in and the tier lists, are there to make something that we all had stopped using or because it had become non-legit. Or they introduce a caster that can utilize something. Bradigus is probably the premier example of taking Wolds and suddenly a unit that a model that I never sold at a store ever. There was always like 5 freaking Wold Watchers sitting there. Suddenly you couldn't get one. And I think, from a business standpoint, it makes sense. But on the other hand, there's people from Mark 1 that may have been holding on to some of these models forever and just waiting for something good to make them go.
Suddenly, all those R guys suddenly have a home.
We're going to talk...
don't talk about that tier. It's an embarrassment. The Sentry Stones are also something big that Bradigus sort of brought back in.
Absolutely.
I knew anybody that owned that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Yeah, nobody was using Sentry. Now, all of a sudden, people are like, ooh, Sentry Stones. And we've talked about this a lot on the show. One of the things that happens is models that are out of favor don't get played. Therefore, they don't get played.
Yeah.
You don't ever practice with them, so you don't ever use them. So
you don't think of them to see where they might go in the list.
And the good news is we're going to talk about that a lot tonight. We're going to talk about creating synergy, finding those things, and creating new lists. But I want to go to Maelstrom over there, who is... He plays this super cheaty faction that you no longer play. You're out of the faction now. Tell us what you're excited about, Maelstrom. You've seen it.
I'm excited about everything. The Blightbringer.
The Blightbringer is exciting.
I'm even a little excited about the Grotesques and the Grotesque Assassin.
Well, those may be the first time those words have ever been uttered.
Yeah, I want to see the models.
Get closer to the microphone so that everybody can hear you.
I want to see
the models are actually really nice, the Grotesque models. They're pretty cool.
I haven't seen them yet.
The Grotesque Assassin is probably one of the... I don't want to belittle the Blightbringer, but he's one of the best Legion really in there.
Right.
It's just a fantastic point solo with 3 initials and sprint and stuff. He can do some clearing that the kind of Legion needs. They need something that's cheap and can clear out a few models.
I agree.
Yeah, because you didn't just get Croak Raiders. So anyways... fuck you, Legion.
Fuck you, Circle.
Well, it's true. I have all the other good stuff.
Exactly.
So, so we're going to talk a bit more about the release as we go on tonight. But we have really nothing else has hit this week. But what I want to talk a bit about is how much of the book got leaked in advance. And we didn't. I just wanted to point this out. We didn't really want to do too much lip service to the leaks, just because we do want people to buy Privateer Press products, and it kind of sucked that everything got leaked. But I mean,
Well,
were the leaks accurate when we find? What I want to know is the leaks came out. We all got to see them. Were they accurate compared to the book? Has anyone seen the book and knows?
I haven't had book in hand yet, but I haven't heard a bunch of people saying, "Oh, this was all wrong" or "This was all wrong."
Right.
So that leads me to believe they were kind of similar. Now, it's what I think is interesting is that how far the book got before it got spoiled.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
true. It was
it
only
literally
like 2 days.
was like, yeah, it was
Whoever
once
got it in the store, basically.
either that or there's a distributor
Yeah.
who got a hold of them and decided,
Right.
hey, let's spoil this.
Right. So,
a lot of them were spoiled online by Trevor Christensen, and I'm assuming he got a copy.
yeah.
Like
So here's the question for you, Greg. Do Me 3. Is all the quote unquote doom and gloom justified in your mind?
I think he's going to be like earth shattering to the meta. To be quite honest, he's pretty insane. Like, I would say he's like S tier. I mean, I know Pagani and Larson and stuff are saying he's like A, but I'm pretty sure he's S tier. It's this Monday when we play usually at the Hobby Kingdom on Monday nights, and Bubba came down and he was like proxying Doom Me 3. And he played a couple of games with Tim, just to show us like what the tier can do and how indestructible the battle group is on feat turn. And it's pretty ridiculous. There's very few things in the game that can actually kill Mulg or Glacier King, for that matter, on his feat turn. And he's also pretty unassassinatable on his feat turn as well. So
it's kind of a time walk. We're gonna have to just bunker down until Doomy 3's done his work and then go back in.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the tier gives the War Beasts +2 speed for the first turn, so you can put all of your battle group on the midline, and they're +2 armor for the first turn as well, and you get +1 to your starting roll for the first turn. So pretty much consistently get that first turn and posture your very aggressive battle group on the midline, and the next turn you can feed if you need to, and there's nothing your opponent can do.
Well, I mean, let's just say it's bad enough that people are. I mean, not that everybody's not going to scream for nerfs, but it's so bad that just getting the leak has called scream for nerf already. Like, nerf Doom Me 3. It's like, dude,
it's all accurate. There's pictures on the internet of the pages.
Yeah,
and we looked closely at it. It's all accurate. The leak stuff. So.
No, I don't doubt it. He sounds crazy, and I was. What, about 5 minutes between pulling the trigger on switching from Circle to Trolls, and I'm kind of...
Now's the time!
I was kind of bummed that I didn't after that came out. But, whatever. It's not like... Because Circle doesn't have any good casters.
No, it's gonna change the way Circle makes their pairings, though.
Absolutely. I mean, you're no longer just going to auto throw, Chromac, Kruger, Bradigus stuff into Trolls and hope for the best. It's going to change how you play it.
Definitely the way Circle plays, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and
it's not going to change how Crix plays. They can deal with that.
And once again, we're going to talk more about all of that stuff later on the show. We have actually sort of expired our time on talking about that stuff. What we're going to talk about tonight, guys, and sort of the focus of this entire episode is talking about we're going to talk about the expectations, because every time a new book comes out, players that have been around the block a bit are waiting for something to happen. They pour through the book, they skip everything else, and they go right to their caster, new unit, new beasts, whatever. And you either doom and gloom or you chant that you've now got the solution to everything. And that happens because of expectations, because of you're so focused on your own faction that you get kind of overly obsessed about it. But we'll talk about that. But the second thing we're going to talk about sort of in depth this evening is synergy, and what synergy means. When we're talking about synergy, what that means. And it's a... Oh, the laptop is dying? You have no battery for it?
It's like 8% left.
Oh, we better plug that in.
Then plug it in. It's right next to you.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. We're just having some technical issues tonight. We've lost a couple of We've lost a couple of our major technical items this evening, so we're just trying to making it work. It's right to your left, dude. The plug. Keep going, right by the camera. Ta-da! Okay, so continuing onwards and upwards. I'm probably just going to cut this out of the audio version. Cut here, Will. This is a good time to cut. Good thing only 2 people.
Live and exciting.
Yeah, good thing only 2 people are watching right now. So we've talked about the leaks a little bit.
We're sorry, Minty.
Sorry, Minty. Let's talk a bit about. Let's start with your request today, George, for the topic. And so I want to throw this to you to kind of guide this. And what we're going to talk about is expectation versus reality. So tell me what you meant by that.
Well, so often when we hear that there is a new book coming, or that we hear there's an errata coming, or something like that, there are immediately people who jump to conclusions about what's going to be in the book. Mm-hmm. My faction needs blank. Blank will be in the book. Mm-hmm. Or there will be something to fix X, Y, or Z in the book. And it is... And then we get to the place where we start to hear things. Like we see somebody's model. Mm-hmm. Say, for example, Doomy 3's model. Suddenly there are expectations. Oh, look, Doomy 3 doesn't have his scrolls. Because the first model we saw of Doomy 3 was without the scroll bearers. Mm-hmm. So there was expectations as to, oh, is it going to be another model? Has he lost those abilities? Whatever. And it is always... It always seems to me that most of the doom and gloom comes from the expectations that people build up in their head not matching with what physically hits the table.
Right.
That's probably very accurate, because I think coming into this book, Trolls felt like they were in a really good spot. They had extremely broken tier list and a very solid Runes of War, and both the Madrax are extremely playable. So it didn't seem like, and the Fire Eaters as well, that their new edition are like fantastically amazing. So it didn't seem like they needed something that would make them troll harder. But then they got Doomy 3, who makes them troll extremely harder. So it didn't meet my expectations of what trolls would be getting. So.
And little things like even the Bushwhacker UA, that when we saw that release, people, or not the release of the model, but during the league, we saw that come out, and people were wondering what it would be on. And then when the UA was announced, suddenly it's like, really? This is more things we're getting? And the fact that all these things suddenly showed up for trolls makes all the troll players think, oh wow, we've really won the book. Whereas I'm hearing nothing but doom and gloom from the Scorn players. Now,
doom and gloom, like they're sad, they're disappointed by the releases for them?
Yes, they don't seem to like the Desert Hydra. Everybody says the Immortal UA is good, but is what I keep hearing.
Right. Well, and I think that's predominant. I mean, to go back to what I originally said, I think one of the problems is we're very focused on the faction that we play. We've invested. We've put, in order to play said faction to any degree of 50 points, you've invested at least a couple $100 by that point, if not a hell of a lot. Yeah, a couple hundred, if not a hell of a lot more. You've invested your time, you've invested your focus, you've sat down poring over lists, you've net decked a bunch of other lists, you've spent your time getting involved, especially the vocal players in the community. And what happens is when the book comes out, you want to solve all your problems. All you care about is your own faction. You see what everybody else gets. It's the grass is always greener. Everybody else got something cool, and I didn't get anything. And you want to get the caster that kills everybody for 3 months before they nerf it. Let's be honest. That's the way our mentality goes. And I think it's a disservice to the game that we get sort of faction blindness, if that makes sense. The guys who have faction ADD, who play 20 different factions, they can sit there and go, oh, well, that was cool, and that was cool, and this does this for this, and this does this for this.
I'm going to start playing trolls again.
Exactly. and what'll happen is, I mean, look at what sometimes you get a caster that does break the meta. But in most cases, a new caster, no matter how exciting it is, once it hits the table, we learn different things about them. I mean, for example, to throw this out there, when the new, which Siphon released today, when the new Cephalix caster hit the books, it went both ways. There was a lot of people that were like, well, this fucking caster sucks. He's supposed to be a monstrosity caster, but he's horrible at handling monstrosities. And I was like, well, obviously you got to play it. Until those models hit the table, you won't know how good or bad they really are. It was the same thing with Bradigus. Everybody was like, well, Bradigus kind of sucks.
Yeah, but then it's tier list.
That's until his tier dropped.
Until his tier dropped. But it also took a couple of weeks for people to figure that out. You know, it was like, it always takes a little while for the good players to go, hey guys, do you think about playing it this way?
Yeah.
So I guess the big question is let's go around the table. What were your expectations for this? We'll start with you because this is sort of you've played two factions that are in this book. What were your expectations and were you let down?
Well, my big expectations for this book was fixed gargantuans, and I think we saw that from at least the Blight Bringer. Wow,
he hasn't even been drinking.
and I'm not the one drinking.
Slayer.
Yeah, and
start
apparently, and then now I haven't been able to look at the rest of them really carefully, but I feel like the support gargantuans are here, and they're what I really expected out of this book.
Right.
And then I figured everybody was going to get a half decent caster, and then Doomy 3 dropped,
Chromac 2,
so I think. So far, for my own expectations, I specifically try to go in kind of blind.
Right.
Just because I know myself, and I know I will get overly involved in some of these things.
Right.
But from what I expected, I think it was basically the gargantuans. That was my
to be honest, I'll go the other way. I expected more from the gargantuans.
You think so?
I wanted more. I wanted the gargantuans to be. I think that with the errata, they did a good job at bringing gargantuans up to a couple of the gargantuans that were really lowballed up to snuff. But I still don't feel like, maybe once again because I'm a circle player, I don't feel like the new circle guard.
You don't like the Storm Raptor?
So far, I'm not. I mean, until I put it on the table, I won't know. Until I've played it in a bunch of lists, I won't know. And to be honest, I'm not a super invested circle player yet. I'm becoming one. So I can't really, I'm not going to sit there and be able to go, dude, this is so sick. I just need to combine it with this and this and this, and it'll make a great list.
Kruger with Linus, Ebria, and the Storm Raptor is just going to shoot some casters straight off the table.
Oh, hell yeah. And there's definitely synergies there. It's about taking the time to figure it out. So, Greg, to you, what were your expectations for this book, and did it meet it?
I think my expectations were kind of what you were talking about, like the pig bushwhackers, the grotesque solo, which at first we thought was a UA when we saw it at TempleCon, and some of the other things we thought were going to sort of fill out some of those non-used units and stuff like that, or say something that I met my expectation, Chromac's tier, something that would make use of beasts and units that I don't normally use. That's kind of what I was hoping and expecting for, something to change up the way I play stuff. Did it meet that? Yeah, in some ways. I'm a big fan of Blood Weavers, and I love the Night Witch. I think she looks fantastic, and she's going to make that cheap unit actually fun and potentially effective to play. I'm not terribly impressed with Chromac 2 yet. I've been dabbling around with him. A lot of people seem to like him, but I don't think he circles very well.
He's sitting on the painting desk. I don't play unless I've painted the model. He's sitting on the painting desk. He's next week, and then I'll finally figure it out. I think you've hit it from our perspective. It's not a great release for us, but we already had so many good releases, but it did bring some table. It brought some models back to the table that we really wanted to see.
Yeah, and I think it's going to, as much as I think Doomy 3 is over the top, I think it's going to be a fantastic book for shaking up the meta.
Yeah.
It's going to make it play differently.
Absolutely. Maelstrom, to you, sir. You told us what models you're excited about. And as a Legion player, are you... you're a newer player, so this is your first release.
Yeah.
So you were super excited about it. But what were your sort of letdowns, I guess, when you looked at it?
I didn't really have any letdowns because leading up to everything, I think there was just a lot of don't expect too much.
Right.
So I didn't expect too much, and then I saw some of the leaks and was super happy about it.
The only thing you were really let down was that you don't get the models right away.
Yeah.
That always sucks.
I thought, hey, book comes out, models come out.
Yeah. Ask the Khadorans about their Grolar.
Crushed.
You got
that Grolar, eh?
2 to 3 years at least.
Jesus.
All right, guys, we've hit the sort of time on the expectations versus reality.
Can I just say one more thing about
Yeah,
expectations?
absolutely.
I think something that sort of tempered our expectations around here was that Chromac 2 and the Twins were released like well in advance of the book, and there's a lot of us that weren't terribly impressed. Like they looked like they were okay, but they weren't like super strong or anything. So we thought that would be sort of like something that would be consistent with the book. And then Doomy 3 dropped, and we were like, wow, okay, yeah.
So let's put it, Chromac 2, one of the things we were really waiting for was this tier list. We've seen it now. Did it help, hinder? Does it do anything?
I've played it a couple times, and I think it's horrible. It's a ton of fun, but it's a really bad competitive list.
No, that's too bad. All right. So,
Mark Andre's building it, so
somebody's going to figure out how to make it better, and then we'll all have a different...
Yeah, we'll follow along.
Yeah, then we'll all be like, oh, dude, Mark Andre just won 16 things. We need to switch over to that. Okay, guys, so let's actually talk about... so let's go to the... Next one.
Didn't we do that one?
There you go.
We're talking about synergy?
Yeah, we're going to talk about synergy tonight. We're going to... so let's start by, when we talk about synergy as players on the... I would say I'm a second-tier player, George being a PG, Greg, you're sort of a third tier, you're a more competitive player. Maelstrom's a newer player, so may not understand what we're talking about. When we talk about synergy,
I know what you
we're not talking about the spell.
Damn it.
Or gem.
We're not talking about gem and the holograms. We're not talking about the spell. When we talk about synergy as players, as sort of second tier, third tier players, what are we talking about, George?
Well, generally we're talking about the way models interact to give us either more powerful interactions or maybe newer interactions that our opponents weren't looking for to maybe help things out.
You're right.
I actually went digging for a definition just to sort of help myself when I was thinking about it. And the one that I got that I was kind of really happy with, it says the interaction of elements that when combined produce a total effect that is greater than the sum of the individual elements.
Ooh, like it.
Exactly. So what we're going to talk about tonight, and for the players that are new to the game, what we're going to talk about is taking a look at your cards, taking a look at your the overall spectrum and moving beyond what's been given to you, if that makes sense. So most of us will go through two different stages as players. We'll start with our battle box, and then we'll rush it to 50 points, and we'll buy a bunch of models that we like. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we'll get some suggestions. We'll go to Reddit, we'll go to the Facebook page, and we'll say, hey guys, I've just bought the battle box. Me and my wife have been playing. How do I get this to 50 points? What's your suggestion for Kyle 1? And you'll get the general...
They're on the shelf!
Yeah, you'll get a bunch of like 800 different recommendations. People will tell you that you're stupid for buying whatever it was you bought.
An Archangel.
And an Archangel right off the bat. And then we rush to 50 points, and then we play that 50 points for a month, 2 months, and then we go to buy our second bunch of models, and we realize that we bought a bunch of stuff that we liked, but it didn't really work together. And that's usually where the first bit of synergy happens. And then the second one happens when you play competitively and you get just raffle stomped off a table, and you're like, oh shit, none of this worked. What did I do wrong? And the guy across the table says, well, first thing you did was bring trenchers.
Hey, they're legit with Halo 3.
They are legit now with Halo 3, but that's what we love about
just
book
wait
releases.
long enough.
They wait long enough,
yeah.
And eventually the model you bought 10 years ago will be good. So I guess the thing I want to talk about first, George, is as a new player, when you come into the game and you're sort of overwhelmed, you're sitting in front of that wall of PP stuff at the store. Usually it's missing like 10 things that you wanted and has 20 things that you didn't even think of. What are you looking for?
Well, I would say it's probably, as a new player, it is probably the wrong thing to do to make your purchase decisions when you're standing in front of all those models. Because as pretty as the packaging is and as great it is to peer into all those pretty little cases full of silver miniatures, that doesn't help in the slightest. what you really need to have done is done a little bit of homework. You need to work out what the force multiplication is going to be ahead of time, so that you can then, when you get there, make informed decisions. Because if you're standing in front of all these models, how am I going to know, for example, in Scorn, that if I have an Ancestral Guardian, my Immortals go faster? Right? You're really going to need to have done a little bit work ahead of time. So my biggest recommendation for a new player is the best, like, what is it, $80 you can spend when you start into this hobby and get in any way serious, is all of the cards in War Room. Mm-hmm. If you do that, if that is your, say, second big purchase, like, I've got an army, I've played it, I've had a lot of fun, I've decided I want to do something a little bit more, buy everything in War Room. It will make your life
solid advice.
So much easier.
Well, I mean, and if you don't want to spend the $80,
go with the $8 for
War
your
Room and get your faction.
Yeah,
and then you're going to sit there, as we used to say, War Room is the greatest toilet thing I've ever had in my life.
Oh yes.
You can sit there with your phone and have a good old long leg-numbing time and just build lists all day long.
Yeah, one of the big things that you want to do when you're just starting out to sort of learn synergies is watch other players. Mm-hmm. When you look at lists when you're just starting out, it's going to seem really, really daunting. You won't know why something is in a list. In fact, one of the biggest disservices, I think, to a list is finding a list of models online, finding an army list. Mm-hmm. And it's not that those aren't useful. They are to a certain extent. But if you're a new player, you pick up this army list and you're like, this is great. It's won, say, these 10 tournaments.
Right.
So you know that this list, when piloted by a competent player, is going to at least do relatively well. The problem is you don't know how that list interacts. And one of the wonders that has happened in the last, I would say, basically year, is that we have gotten a lot more people posting not just battle reports, but actually full games that you can watch how they are played. And the mixture of having that list and watching it actually be played, even if you're not doing it online, if you're doing it at your local game store, take a look at what models are activating together, what models are activating before others, and that will give you an idea of what things are synergizing in the list.
Well, it gives you the broader scope and lets you see it in play. You're not going to understand why you need to have Rangers and Holt and Ayana until with the Kane 2 list, until you've seen that played out and you go, oh shit, that's friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
To go over to you, Greg, I think the biggest holdup people have with understanding synergy is often, well, I don't play competitively, I just play for fun, why bother? So, I mean, if you're only playing for fun, what's the point of worrying about all this synergy bullshit?
Well, part of the fun is doing the dissection and doing the building so that you can have these interactions. I mean, that's part of the appeal of War Machine over some other miniature games, is that those interactions and stuff are so important. And not only are they important in terms of card wise, picking the right models and the right solos and the right units to get the right interactions, but also the 3D element of positioning those models on the tabletop and getting your order of activations correct so that you can maximize those synergies and position the models so that they can exploit the benefit they're getting from those synergies, so they can put damage out on the enemy or their effects out on the enemy. So I think you don't necessarily have to be a competitive player to be concerned about synergy, because it's just going to be a deeper, richer experience for you if you do that digging, if you do that research. And I think I know that when I bought War Room, I only bought the faction that I played. And something you should know is that War Room is not prorated, so if you decide you want the whole shebang, they're not going to give you a discount if you buy individual factions or something like that. So you're doing yourself a service by just buying the entire thing up front, and so you can do all the proper dissections and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that also lets you, when you've played a game with somebody and lost horribly, or whatever, just got stomped. You can go back. What I often do is I'll go back to War Room, build that guy's list out as far as I can remember it, and just look at how he built it and what all those interactions did. And some people would say, oh, you're looking to try to find the thing that he cheated on. It's like, no, what I'm actually trying to do is see what he did there to make that fly. It's like, to come back to one of our friends who's a Retribution player, one of the things he wasn't doing was looking at synergies. Mm-hmm. He had a set of models. He wasn't going to buy more models. He had a set of models. And it was like, well, with the models you have, you kind of have a mishmash here. Mm. It's great because you enjoy playing these models, but it's not a fun game for either of us. Because
it's an expensive hobby. You know, you understand they don't want to make the investment and stuff like that. But you're going to get a better experience out of it.
And the game is more fun when both people are coming at at a level of challenge. I love playing against new players, often because they come to the table with something new and different that I would never have thought of. But when you're playing, it's your 8th or 9th month playing the game, and you've just got a mishmash and you're not really putting any thought into what you're tabling, the fun wears out for you very quickly because you're losing all the time. And the fun wears out for me pretty quickly because I can't help you. We can't have...
You can only go so far if you have a limited set of tools.
Right. Well, I want to lose on a crazy assassination run at least once a week, if that makes sense.
I think a really interesting tool for learning that type of synergistic play is actually playing Convergence. Mm-hmm. One of the interesting things about Convergence is that they are literally the clockwork machine. They aren't going to be able to do their job unless each of their pieces does their thing. If they're generally don't have a very good rat, so unless your flare bot is activated first and goes off, maybe they aren't going to be able to hit anything. And then you need to have focus maybe outside of your control range. So you have to activate a vector in a certain way so that it will be able to pass off a focus to another vector so that it can have a full focus while this other guy does his thing. And more than any other faction, I think they force that type of thing.
Well, they're a faction. They're such a small faction. They're built around the synergies.
Yeah, and I think that also helps is that they're a self-contained faction and that they're a faction that was all designed at once. Right. So they are designed to work together.
Well, let's move to the basics of as a middle player. I'm good friends with a lot of high level players. Let's talk a bit with you guys about how to find synergy. So, starting with Maelstrom, you were about 2 months into the game, and you'd played a bunch, you'd lost a bunch of games, and you came to me and you were like, I don't fucking understand it, man. Yeah. I shoot stuff and then it doesn't die.
It kills me.
And I was like, well, maybe it's because you need to do more damage. Maybe you need to look at what is, what's going to do that in the game. Here are the conundrums you're being given, which is nothing dies.
Yeah.
How do you solve it? Mm-hmm. And then you started looking at the game a bit differently.
Yes.
Let's talk to you two guys. Let's move it over here and go. So let's start with you pull out a caster you really want to play. I think that's the best way to start your synergies.
I actually find that to not be the correct way.
Okay, so tell me how you do it.
When I am often starting a list, I will think about how I want to do whatever I want to do. So, say I want to kill heavies.
Okay.
The idea of this list is to just deal a buttload of damage. So I will pick the thing that I want to do the damage.
Okay.
I'm going to use Legion here because it was the last faction that I spent a lot of time doing this thinking on. Mm-hmm. So, for example, I bought the 2-player starter box. So I had War Spears. And my thought was, I looked at these guys and I'm like, well, they've just gotten a UA. I want the War Spears here to be the thing that does the work. So I built out a list to make the War Spears the deadliest thing I could. Okay. So I started off looking around for a caster that's going to help the War Spears. War Spears are great. Yep. War Spears are great because their strength is tied to their ranged weapon as well as their melee weapon. So anytime that they have a strength buff, they are suddenly going to boost all of their weapons.
Gotcha.
So Thagrosh, of course, Thagrosh 1 is a shoo-in. So you have Thagrosh 1. He, in fact, has a tier list with 2 of those in there. So I looked at that tier list and I said, is this tier list going to help me make these guys more deadly? And it turns out the answer is yes, because I could get a free Warlord. And I went and looked up the Warlord, and the Warlord, when they can see him, they get bonuses to, I think it's hit and damage.
When you look at the world, it's easy to see.
Right.
So the
sorry about that.
So I've now got Thagrosh, and I'm now in tier, so that I'm getting this second bonus. I've added the UA. I now have about 50% of a 50-point list where I have 2 units of War Spears that are something ridiculous when they're attacking their prey target. If I recall correctly, they're like mat 7 or 8, and their thrown weapon is like a POW 17, and their melee is a POW 19.
Okay.
And then I know I need to deliver them, so I can use the Gatorman Witch Doctor to make them undead and tough.
Right.
And that is how I built out the synergy in that list. I added some backup beasts because why not in Legion? And I had a 50-point list that could live the dream. I can remember one fight against Mike Bilak taking out Deathjack in a single activation of those War Spears.
Okay, so let's distill this. So what you generally do is you choose the type of play that you want that list to do. So let's say let's distill this down. There's 3 different types of play in general War Machine. There is the assassination play, the control play, and the attrition play. So let's define those 3. The assassination is pretty easy to define. That is, I'm going to run over and kill his caster. That is the job of this list, is to be really good at getting to the caster and killing him. The second is control, which has control is a weird one because basically it lets you control the game. So imagine what you're doing is Haley 2 is a prime example. It allows you to sort of reach into the game, move the pieces around how you need them to be moved so that you can do what you need to do, whether it's an assassination or a scenario. Finally,
a lot of control casters also control the tempo of the game, not just necessarily the actual placement of things.
Absolutely. So that's a third thing that a control can do. So you're not just manipulating the game itself, you're also putting your opponent in bad situations so that basically the tilt goes towards them as opposed towards you. And the final is what we call attrition play, which is attrition is hard to define for me because it's not a game style I play. So Greg, define attrition for me.
You kill things. Attrition is making effective trades, basically. Right. I don't really look at it as like a... I mean, it's something that everybody kind of has to do, unless you've built like a specific assassination list. But attrition is trying to kill things so that you're gaining an advantage. So if you're going to put up a 7-point War Beast to have your opponent commit a 9-point War Beast to, and you trade them basically, then you're up in terms of points. So
it also attrition also comes in with Crix players and with Troll players is to outlast. So I put this 2 units of warders in your face. Deal with it. I will live longer than you is the other way. That sort of that once again controls the tempo of the game because if I can't kill your unit of warders, I can't get my shit to you.
There's also something that comes into play with attrition and with the lists that are hard to attrition is clock. And I mean, this is only for really competitive play. But say something like a unit of warders, it's going to take you a lot of your clock to deal with those guys, not only just kill them.
Exactly, and it sucks. The first time you go from playing casually to your first comp, and somebody throws down that kind of list and just clocks you, it's a frustrating moment because you're like, well, but I was doing great. I don't understand why. Oh, this sucks.
That's why attrition needs to be coupled with one of the win scenarios, whether it's clock, assassination, or a scenario.
Right.
Otherwise, you're killing things for no particular purpose. You have to gain something out of it, whether it's CPs or some sort of table presence that's going to lead you towards an assassination.
So putting that on the table, those are the types of gameplay. Let's say the three general stereotypes of gameplay. Greg, how do you build your list? We've talked to George. George builds his list sort of from a unit. He decides on the game style he's going to play with that list, or the question it's going to give, or the answer it's going to give, and builds it around a unit or a model. What do you do?
Well, I think George's way is perfectly legitimate. Whenever I'm building lists, I'm always thinking of a pairing of casters, because I'm always thinking about it in terms of a tournament context. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be taking a pair of casters, so I'm trying to think of which casters are going to go well together, what I think I'm going to be dealing with, what's hot in the current meta. If I'm playing Circle, say, what's going to be my Legion drop, what's going to be my Troll drop, that type of thing. So I'll usually try to start with and I'm not saying this is the best way to go, but I start with a primary caster, some caster that I have a significant enough of experience, feel comfortable with, and I try to decide, okay, what are they good for? And I will build on their strengths, I guess you'd say, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And I would be thinking very strongly about which matchups I want to play them into, and not only what they're going to be able to synergize with their units, but how effective those units are going to be against what I expect to face with that list.
And I think that's the next step. So let's move from there. We've decided on the game style we're going to play. We've sort of built sort of a generic, sort of a framework of where we're going to go. You've chosen your caster, you maybe chosen your main unit. How does a new player sort of choose his beast list or his jack list at that point? I'll start. I always look at it as is this a jack caster? Or in hordes, is this a guy who needs a ton of beasts in order to make his stuff work, or is he going to be something that needs no beasts? Like, for example, Kane, and I'm always going to go back to Kane because he's sort of the first list I felt that I built strongly and solidly. Same thing with my Striker 1 list. I looked at it going, these guys don't... Kane doesn't need jacks. He just needs, a couple of things and then all of the units to give him boosts because he's going to do all the work. That's one of your primary considerations when you're looking at battle group is the battle group going to be a primary source of damage output, kind of a attritional advantage, and that can be a big factor of that. It can be like the units that go in your army, are they a strong source of damage output? Are they going to attrition the enemy, or are they just going to be a screen that gets in the way, or like gun mages, maybe they're just going to pick off a screen as well, or that type of thing. So if your battle group is going to be a strong source of damage output, I mean, Kane's a good example. He doesn't need a battle group to do significant damage. And he doesn't want to use his focus. He wants to hold on.
He does not want to allocate focus. Yeah, exactly.
And the same thing goes with beasts. If you're playing somebody like Bradigus and you have a spell like Synergy or COC with the Father Lucant, I want to say, mm-hmm. and you have Synergy on the table, then that's
Syntherian.
Syntherian, sorry. Then you need to have something on the table. You need to have a big battle group in order to get that synergy to up to ridiculous levels. Otherwise, you're going to do 2 hits, and the synergy is a relatively ineffective spell.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to quickly just reference what I mentioned before about what you're facing. When I was playing Convergence, I found Lucant sort of like at that point in time a difficult sort of conundrum for me, and the big question was, do I Axiom or do I not Axiom? And that became a complicated question, and I had to play a fair number of games against E. Haley because I wanted him to be a strong Signar drop. And after playing some games, I found out that the Axiom was actually quite a bit of dead weight in the Signar matchup, and that I was better not investing points into it.
So we've moved on from creating the battle group. The next step, of course, when you're creating synergy is we've talked about putting units into it. George, I think legitimately building around a unit is a great way to do it, especially if you're a Khador player or a Mercs player, or you play a lot of Mercs, because you've got great units to sort of pull from. If you're Circle's got some good units, but I mean, if you're a Legion player, you may not want to sort of base your world around units because you've got some great beasts to throw into this. But let's move on from units and let's talk a bit about solos. What does solos bring to synergy? And why do we go? I mean, I always look at them as sort of the next rung after I've built my units, my battle group. I look at solos third. Am I wrong on that?
No, I don't necessarily think so. Depends on the style of army you're building, but the solos are either providing utility for the caster, or buffing your units, or are just sort of like gap fillers in your line, stuff to clear out or protect flanks, that type of thing. But generally you want stuff that's like good utility for your caster or supports your units.
Yeah, often they also provide a way to remove obstacles on the other side of the table. Because often you'll have things that are either, like high defense, that maybe the unit you've selected can't particularly hit high defense, or they're high armor, and you really need some way to be able to affect those. Those solos can scalpel out something that the rest of your army can't deal with for one reason or another. Sometimes they're not, I don't want to say they're not support, because they do support what you're doing as a total, but the way they're supporting it is by killing very specific things on the other side of the table.
I think that's a good way of looking at it. They don't necessarily even have to kill something. They're like problem solvers.
Yeah, or they're a problem for your opponent. Like, let's take a look at dang it, I'm just her name just slipped my mind. The mercenary unit, not Alyssa, the one that comes in.
Oh, the Risen?
No, the one gal that comes in late in the game and just gives everybody a second movement and attack. If
she gets close to the intrigue.
Madeline Corbeau?
Yeah.
No, that's a different one.
Anyway, we know who we're talking about. The
espionage is the
espionage chick. But she poses a question. It is, deal with this now. Because if you don't deal with this, you're really, really, really boned. So they also can just sit there to ask another question, to say...
Well, Iris is because I play Jack heavy when I'm playing Convergence. When I see Iris hit the table, I know I am going to be putting an unusually large amount of points into this single solo, and I know for a fact that some of my opponents put Iris in there specifically because she is going to soak points that should be doing other work into her. Because if you don't, she is going to be such a problem that you are going to you're going to need to deal with that. And if you can add some solos to your list that will fix that problem while leaving the rest of your machinery unharmed, unhindered, then I think that's one of the biggest things that a solo can do for you.
Well, so we've touched on, creating the battle.
A good example of what George is talking about is the Totem Hunter. And say if you're playing a P. Morvana list and you're concerned about Iris shooting off all your fantastic upkeeps, you put in a Totem Hunter, and his sole purpose is just to hunt Iris and to keep her at a safe distance.
Or if we hear it all the time in Signar, Storm Knights are not good tar pit, Storm Knights are not good tar pit, Storm Knights are not good tar pit until you put the Piper Word on them.
Yeah.
And suddenly they're not just a decent arm 15 group, they also have tough. It's to solve problems. You can solve a lot of problems with the right solo, especially if if you've got a big gap in your list. Prime example is not having any magic weapons in your list. Suddenly Iana and Holt become a really important part of that list, or something else to offer a magical weapon. So it's you can also use them to fill gaps, and that also comes up with going through all your solos, and remember to look at your Merc and Minion solos, because those can fill those gaps really, really quickly. Let's talk a bit, just to finalize this, let's talk a bit about what we mean. You'll read it online, guys, if you're not a hardcore player. People will talk about, I've been dojoing this list. And we're kind of doing it now. We're kind of doing like a generalized dojo here. Maelstrom.
Yes.
Because I haven't heard your voice in a while.
You missed me, don't you?
Beautiful voice.
It is a sexy voice.
What do we mean when we talk about dojoing a list?
Well,
do you know what we mean?
Learning, like going and playing the list and seeing what his strengths and weaknesses are. Maybe playing against somebody who's better than you and can tell you what those strengths and weaknesses are.
To a certain degree. But I think
I think that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
But, I
think that's dojoing hardcore.
Yeah.
if you're dojoing, you're generally like you're theory machining. You're not actually making an investment in terms of models and stuff like that. You're sort of like sitting around and talking about stuff. Like I was listening to No Country for Old Men, and that's Morehouse's and Crump's.
God, if you didn't listen to number 2, the second episode that just came out like in the last couple of days, they dojo good. Some just fucking maniac.
They do some crazy stuff, and that's the good thing about dojo. You can talk about just wacky stuff without having to make an investment. Like they were talking about 2 units of Croak Raiders with Cassius and going through
how to make it ridiculous.
I mean, Morehouse is a genius. He thinks about like the most stupidest things that nobody would ever do, like killing a Moonhound and possessing it with a Feral Geist, so it'd become a minion faction model, and then you could mark the target from the Moonhound to improve the Croak Raiders rat. Right? It's like insane.
Wow.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah. You have to listen to this podcast, dude. They also go through the numbers, like they're doing the math in their head as they go. Well, that'll be a 10% chance for me to do this, but wait, let me just. No, it's 10%. It's ridiculous. But I think that's what dojoing is about. Dojoing is what you do in the car ride home from the con.
Oh yeah, I had a huge problem with this matchup. I can't deal with this caster. You got any ideas? And then you start thinking of all this stuff that you don't normally use.
And it's probably we talked a bit about at the beginning, Greg. You mentioned one of the fun parts of this game is coming up with the synergies and building those lists. Well, as a how do you put this? As a conversation that you have with your friends who also play War Machine. God, man, one of the most fun things in the universe to do is dojo for 2 hours in a car ride home from a con.
Oh yeah, you come up with like the craziest, like insane stuff.
And I'm gonna play it, man. I don't care. I'll lose.
You may not actually put on the table, but it gets you thinking. And I think something that we're doing recently, we're running a bottom of the barrel tournament. So we're playing. You have to play with like 3 of the lowest ranked casters. That was done by like a vote or something like that. So I'm going to play Grail and Mosar or something like that. And so we just have to kind of like get thinking out of the box in terms of like how you're going to make this work, how you're going to make this effective, and how you can make this caster that's not looked at very well and a spell list that's maybe horrible, how you can make best use out of it. So.
Yep, we just did our bottom of the barrel.
That's right. We got the Sunday. Idea from you guys, I think.
And I have never seen 3 Khador players bring Karchev before. it was kind of weird.
And who won? What was the bottom of the barrel caster that did well?
Oh my goodness, I can't remember. I feel like it was Gunbjorn. I know.
Yes, it was. I remember seeing the guy's picture.
Dude, that's legit. Gunbjorn is legit. If somebody would just fucking play him.
He's not legit. If you're lucky
and get all those crits and stuff, he's just amazing.
He's not.
I watched a game that Scott played against my buddy Dave, and he got like 80% of the crits, and just like destroyed the guy's game.
After listening to Old Country for Old Men, once again, I want to do a shout out because it was such a good podcast that they put out in the last couple of days. I have seriously decided that I cannot in good conscience play the 2 standard circle matchups that go to every con in the universe. I have got to come up with something ridiculous, some weird janky, because literally Morehouse kind of guilted me into it. He was like, yeah, so we read through all the WTC lists. And
they're all the same, they're all boring.
Boring as shit. You all suck. This is my list, this is my list, this is your list, this is your list. There are 4 people that have original fucking lists in this entire thing. Grow the fuck.
I think that's part of the reason why Chromac 2 is so appealing to Circle players, that competitively it feels like a very stagnant and uncreative environment. And it's something new to tool around with and try to be creative with, even though I don't necessarily think he's like a fantastic addition to the faction.
No.
He's just something new.
But I just need to do what I did with the other factions that I've played, which is jump into it. All right, guys, we're coming up to the end of the death clock. George is giving me the wiggly finger, which means that we've expired our time. Although I did say we were 10 minutes, we would go 15 minutes over.
Yeah.
So it's coming.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, not your fault. Not your fault. It is time for the quiz, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for
the lightning round.
The lightning round. 10 of the hardest questions in all of War Machine. For Greg, who hasn't played the lightning round before, all you have to do to answer the question is buzz in, and to buzz in, you just have to make the sound.
Okay.
Whoever makes it the fastest, the loudest, gets to answer the question first. If you answer the question wrong and buzz in, we shame you.
Appropriate.
We make you be the one that posts us to Reddit the next day and get.
Have you guys got all the questions?
I've got the. No, they don't know the question.
We have no idea.
I am the only one who knows.
Do I get a chance to ask a couple questions?
No.
The only thing we know for sure is that Marc-Andre knows the answer.
Yeah, the only thing we know for sure. And that most of the time, even if I do all the research in the world, Marc-Andre will tell me why I'm wrong.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, question number 1. Can you channel a spell range self to an arc node?
No. Buzz.
All right. I'll give you that because you buzzed in
No.
after. Go, and then you get to answer. You're right, you cannot. Question number 2. What is the blast damage a model would take from the spell Powder Keg?
Whoa, that's obscure. Buzz.
Okay.
7.
It is 7! Very good, Greg.
Nice.
Managed to know the spell damage and half it. So there are questions in here that are all about synergy, by the way. So just be prepared for that.
Powder keg. Wow, that's obscure though.
My favorite model. So,
Is it?
what is the POW of the claw attack on a Forsaken? George, I'm going to give it to you.
I'm going to say it's a POW 8.
Wrong, it's a POW 5. POW 5. Sorry
It's
about
POW
that.
5? Really?
POW
Fine,
5.
fine.
That is the
Not the P plus
Not
S.
the P plus S, just the
The
POW.
POW.
Fine.
All right.
Oh, right.
Ah, see, I'm getting tricky now. See,
Yeah.
because
You
I'm
are.
giving you guys easy questions, but I'm being more tricksky this week. All right, question number 4. What is the attack and damage bonus given to a frenzied war beast?
Boosted?
And
Boosted attack and damage roll.
I believe, and I could be wrong on this because I didn't actually write it down. Because
Write it down.
is it not a +2 to your attack and?
No, it's
A
a
war beast that frenzies?
Boosted attack.
It's just boosted attack and damage. All right. I'm an idiot. All right, so that's -1 point to me. Because I didn't. I guess I was going to write it down, but I didn't. All right. So, question number 5. What is the defense bonus for standing behind a cloud?
That's a trick
Buzz?
question.
It's a trick question. What's the
Can't
answer?
see
Yes.
behind the cloud.
You can't see. No line of
It's
sight.
a line. It blocks line of sight. All right, perfect. Question number 6. Are all war beasts constructs?
Buzz. No.
No.
Uh,
The follow-up question is: are all jacks constructs?
Yes.
Yes, very good. All right.
What's the other type?
What's the other type? Living? I don't know.
No, there's one more. How do you not know the other?
Karchev!
The answer is almost always Karchev, but in this case, it's monstrosity. Monstrosities are neither a war
yes.
jack
That's true.
nor a war
I didn't even
beast.
think of that.
Hurry up,
And
I
I'm
really
on my
have to
4th
pee.
beer. And Master Beam. All right, question number 7. What is the ranged... Oh, come on. The autocorrect fixed this on me, which apparently is awful. What is the range... Okay, what is the range defense of a knocked down model in a trench?
Buzz. 9.
It is 9. Very
Good
good.
job.
Question number 8. How far is the siege animatrix moved by Gallows Grove?
Buzz. None.
0 is the answer to the question because you cannot...
Oh, Gallows is a push, not a place.
You
We're gonna have to
cannot...
get
No,
Greg and Mark on
Gallows
the
Grove
same
is a
That's
solo.
trick questions this week. Number 9.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You meant
Gallows is a spell. Yeah,
Gallows
you
is
can
a spell.
push.
Gallows Grove is a model.
No, I meant the Gallows. Damn it. Sorry, we're moving on.
You're so good at this, so -2 for you.
-2 for me so far. But you got
You
it right
actually-
either
you
way.
can't push battle engines.
That's
You can place
exactly
them.
what my whole point to that entire question was. All right, what is the mat of a feral warp wolf when paired with Kaya 1?
Buzz. 9.
Wow, that's really good.
Good job.
Dang it,
Tim's
dude.
playing Pikaia for bottom of the barrel.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for the minty fresh question of the week.
Oh,
Here we
no.
go.
Assuming the models named are only the ones interacting, what is the threat range on a Roadhog controlled by Lord Carver, BMMD Esquire III?
So just those two models?
Just those 2 models.
12.5. Buzz.
Nope, not 12.5. Shame on you! Shame!
Shame.
Anybody else? Anybody
I'm
else?
not going to try that.
No.
All right, the